What if I was in control of Star Wars before the sequel trilogy came out? What if in 2013, 2014, I had control, a creative control over how the sequel trilogy and all the movies and whatnot were planned out? Because I have, in retrospect, an idea of how the sequel trilogy time period could have been expanded upon and explored upon, and actually felt like an actual place that you want to be in, like with a prequel trilogy, that time period, to make this time period more fleshed out. Because as it is right now, it's not. And before anyone asks, I always get comments about this. They're like, why do you want to talk about this time period that no one cares anymore? It's just pointless. They should just scrap it. Look, let's just pretend that the current sequel trilogy does not exist. Let's just not pretend it doesn't exist. And this is before any of that came out. But when people did care, because people did care about this, I remember that people cared about this trilogy a lot before The Last Jedi just ruined the hype. So I'll be changing a lot of stuff. And for starters, one thing that I wouldn't change is actually The Force Awakens, because and you may be asking why I want to just make the time period completely different. Well, let's just say hypothetically, Kathleen Kennedy's like, no, Keith, you have to make it, First Order and Resistance. It has to be like the original trilogy, because we can't have anything new. It has to be old stuff, so just put repaint on it. So The Force Awakens will be exactly the same. But the difference with Rogue One. I remember when Rogue One came out, people were very confused on whether or not this movie was a sequel to The Force Awakens. And it was very difficult to tell the casual audience that it's a spin-off movie. Like, having a spin-off movie, it's just a very confusing thing to tell people, because, it hasn't really been done in Star Wars before, really. And when you're having, movies coming out, like every 2 years, that's part of the same trilogy, and then you have spin-off movies in between those, so it's very confusing to the casual audience if you're not, really into Star Wars. So, for my re-change, I would make Rogue One not take place during the original trilogy time period, but rather right after The Force Awakens, because The Last Jedi wouldn't take place after The Force Awakens. It would take place a year after The Force Awakens, because the story of The Last Jedi, or parts of it, could be put into this movie. It'll be more focused on the Resistance, because in The Force Awakens, you see the Resistance for a little bit, but in this new movie, you'll get to see more of it. Next up would be The Last Jedi, and for the sake of the plot of The Last Jedi, for better or for worse, I'll just leave it the same, but it'll be moved a year from where The Force Awakens left off, because I don't like it that The Last Jedi takes place right after The Force Awakens. I think it's really stupid, and it kind of makes the opening crawl pointless, because you're already, you know what's going on already. So I'll make a year into the future, where Finn would be our main focus to showcase what the Resistance is doing in that year, because he got knocked out. Maybe he was in back to tank for a year. He came out. Poe could show him around a little bit. That could be our way into really getting to know the new Resistance. And on top of that, that'll give Rey a year of training, which would be really good, because Rey wouldn't really be Mary Sue anymore. She would actually be, natural, sort of like an apprentice, like an actual Force user. That's just not, the criticism for being a Mary Sue wouldn't really beat her anymore if she had a year of training. And so that'll be the case for that. But before that, we have to go into what I would change with Solo, because I wouldn't have Solo. Solo wouldn't exist in my new timeline, but rather a movie about the underworld during the sequel trilogy time period, because we have no idea what the underworld is like during that time period. And having new characters be in a new place where you see the underworld will be a real interesting idea. And the movie wouldn't connect to the sequel trilogy, but rather just a story in that time period to showcase what bounty hunters and criminal factions. We can even see Maz in the movie, because she's a pirate. We can see her a little bit. She's not the main character, but she could be a side character, or she show up in part of the movie, like how she did in The Force Awakens. It'll be new characters, and that would be a real cool idea. And even now, they can still do that type of thing, but it's never too late to do that idea. But I'm saying in 2018, it would have been really, really cool to explore that. And finally, we have The Rise of Skywalker, and that'll be completely different from how it is in the original timeline, because it'll be an actual proper finale to not only the sequel trilogy, but also the saga itself, because The Rise of Skywalker was advertised as the last film of the saga, so it should be grand, it should be epic, not lame and stupid. But unfortunately, we're not living in that fantasy land. We're stuck with Disney Star Wars with just 3 movies really set in that time period, and that's just how it is. So if you guys enjoy, hit the like button and subscribe. Do you think that my plan could work? in this hypothetical timeline? Comment down below. Can go now. So goodbye, everyone.